Ladies and gentlemen, my friend.
Councillor Kaur, if you can hear us, perhaps you could enable your camera for our viewing audience. Perfect. Oh, Mike.
Mike?
That's echoing.
Oh, you're missing. Oh, there he is.
That's echoing the live stream. Okay, you do have quorum, Mr. Mayor. Okay.
Okay, we good? Okay. Okay, good afternoon, Council, SLT. I see that we have
Mr. Mayor, you need your mic on.
Oh, sorry. Yep. My apologies. Good afternoon, councilors, SLT. I see we have quorum, so I will call this regular council meeting to order for Monday, August 24th, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. I see approval of agenda, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, I have a motion by Councillor Kaur, seconded by Councillor Hildebrand. Be it resolved that the agenda for the August 24th, 2020 regular meeting of council be adopted. If there are any changes, you could call for changes, Mr. Mayor.
Any changes or discussion on the agenda? Not seen any. I return to the clerk.
So for the approval of the agenda, Councillor Hahn.
Yes.
Councillor Hildebrand.
Yes.
Councillor Kaur.
Yes.
And Mayor Junkin.
Yes.
Carried unanimously.
Okay. Next is declaration of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof. After viewing the agenda, does any councillor have a declaration of sorts to declare? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to please note that. Presentations. The first presentation is a COVID update. Community Emergency Management Coordinator, our Fire Chief, Mr. Limburner. Bob, the floor is yours.
Mayor, councilors, and senior staff. Just today's update. As far as Pelham goes, we have had 41 total cases. We picked up one case today, so we have one active case in the town. There's currently 5 municipalities in Niagara that have 0 active cases. Niagara itself, we've had 930 total cases. Currently 28 are active. We've had 838 recover, which is over 90%, and we're still at 64 fatalities. Ontario, 41,402 total cases with 37,595 recovered, which is again over 90%. Across the country, we're at about 125,000 total cases with 111,000 recovered. The last 3 days actually have been very good in the region. We've only had 3 cases in the last 3 days. So our case doubling time, which is the 7-day average, rolling average, is at 320 days. Our reproduction rate is 0.7. As I've said before, anything under 1 is good. The virus diminishes. Outbreaks, we currently have 1 outbreak, and with 37 outbreaks resolved. As far as infection goes, just over 62% is close contact, 26% community spread, and 10% travel. Due to the demographics and the change in our age groups, the largest group of infections right now is between the 29-year-old age group, which in turn changes our percentages at 53% female and 40% or 47% male. In the last 2 weeks, NHS has only admitted one case into our hospital system. Everything is at home. That's pretty well it for the numbers. As far as the town itself, what we're working on, the camps will be winding up in the next week or so. So we're looking at opening up the walking track. Basketball will be looking at starting their fall league or fall training. Hockey and minor hockey is ramping things up, so we're looking at some plans there. Pickleball, which is usually primarily played during the day, during the week in the basketball areas. So we are working on a number of activities moving into the fall. And as far as our crossing guards, there's been a few concerns or questions about that. With our kids going back to school in September, our crossing guards will be manning their stations. We will be providing them with full PPE. And we also will be marking our crosswalk areas with an area for the guard to stand and an area for the students to stand. So we minimize our activity and maintain our social distancing. So that's basically what we're working on. Our borders remain closed, and hopefully they remain closed for some time in order for us to maintain these good numbers. So that's it. If anybody has any questions, feel free.
Thank you for that report, Fire Chief. Any questions from councillors? Not seeing any. I will return to the clerk.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. I do have a motion by Councillor Hildebrand, seconded by Councillor Hahn. Be it resolved that Council receive the COVID-19 update presentation from B. Limburner, Fire Chief and Community Emergency Management Coordinator, for information. This vote will start with Councillor Hildebrand.
Yes.
Councillor Kaur.
Yes.
Councillor Hahn.
Yes.
And Mayor Junkin.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously, Mr. Mayor. The next item on the agenda is the corporate administrative COVID-19 update from the Chief Administrative Officer.
Thank you. And Mr. Cribbs, you have the floor. But we would like to hear you.
Not a lot of people say that, and not often. So I'm just going to savor this moment. I just wanted to give you an update on the success that Vicki Van Ravensway and her entire team has enjoyed over the course of this summer. From an aquatics perspective, we had 210 family rentals of our swimming pool. We don't track whether it's one family 210 times or 210 families once or how that breaks down, but 210 family uses of the pool. We've had 215 swimmers in swim lessons. We've had 80 people booked for private lessons. All 4 weekly Zumba sessions have been full, which is 15 participants per all summer long. 88 people bought the lane swimmer pass for the entirety of the summer. And we're running a national level recertification course. So that's a program for lifeguards. Brock University is coming because their pool isn't open, but ours is. So Brock University is running certification for lifeguards at the Pelham pool. There are a couple spots still available there. And happily over the long weekend, normally historically we've shut down on the Friday, the long weekend. But this year, in keeping with the COVID times and the thought that probably there's going to be pretty high demand, we're going to stay open for the entire weekend. So on the Monday, it can be rented by families for family swim. There's still time available if members of the community are so interested. But otherwise, they'll run normally on the Friday and Saturday. Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday it's available for booking, and that's how it'll end its season. So things going well. We've had a great uptick in aquatics. For the kids camps, we had 240 campers. We're still running camps as we speak, and will be to the end of next week. And we did 5 specialty camps, some of which are still ongoing. Leadership, tennis, art and theater, and biking. MCC rentals are going strong, and we have those booked on the summer schedule until September 6th. We are still negotiating the specifics of the fall, so not in a position to make exact announcements there. but that's in hand. And it looks like Pelham Minor Basketball will be renting gymnasium space 7 days a week into the fall. So that we can say. So things are going well. Next on deck, we're taking a look at how to safely operate the track. A couple of different options and variables there. We're looking at what some of our neighbors and others are doing, try to find the best way forward for track use. And then it'll be on to pickleball, public skating, and we're hoping to find a way. We're sure we're going to find a way to have Rock Fitness come in, just a controlled setting type of thing. Also working on the change rooms. So those are things that we're not there yet, but are well in hand and we'll have ready to go sometime in mid to late September, one would think, possibly early October for some of the final activities, but that sort of time frame. So lots of progress and lots of usage. And that's really what the facilities are there for quality of life for our residents. So happy to make that report. Vicky or I would be pleased to take your questions if you have any. That's what we have.
Great. Thank you, Mr. CAO, for that report. And after hearing it, is there any comments or questions from any councillors? Not seeing any, I will turn to the clerk.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. On a motion by Councillor Hildebrand, seconded by Councillor Hahn, be it resolved that Council receive COVID-19 update presentation from D. Cribbs, Chief Administrative Officer, for information. Councillor Kaur.
Yes.
Councillor Hahn.
Yes.
Councillor Hildebrand.
Yes.
And Mayor Junkin.
Yes.
It's carried unanimously. And Councillor Stewart, if you can hear us, we are about to let you in from the waiting room. I'll just text our IT department. Through you, Mr. Mayor, the next item on the agenda is the adoption of minutes. And I'm certain that our IT will admit her into the room. I could go down and do it. I'm just a little bit immobile right now. Mr. Guglielmi will let her in.
Oh, okay.
So we do have a motion by Councillor Hahn, seconded by Councillor Kaur. Be it resolved that the following minutes be adopted as printed, circulated, and read. C13A of 2020, which is the regular council minutes of August 10th, and SC11 special council minutes August 10th. If you'd like to call for any errors or omissions.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. After reviewing these minutes, does any councillor have any comments or questions? Not seeing any, we turn to the clerk.
Councillor Hahn?
Yes.
Councillor Hildebrand?
Yes.
Councillor Kaur?
Yes.
And Mayor Junkin.
Yes.
Carried unanimously. I'm just going to, Mr. Guglielmi is just arriving home, so it'll just take me a moment because
Okay. We will await your return.
I'm here.
Nancy's got it. Thank you. Yep, there we go. Welcome, Councillor Stewart.
Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the next item on the agenda, there are no delegations and no regional report. The adoption of minutes has concluded. Are there any items to be lifted from the consent agenda?
So the question asked each councillor, is there anyone that wants to lift anything in the consent agenda? Not seen any, Madam Clerk?
So I have a motion by Councillor Stewart. Welcome to the meeting, and seconded by Councillor Hildebrand. Be it resolved that the consent agenda items as listed on the August 24th, 2020 council agenda be received and the recommendations contained therein be approved as applicable. And included in there are the public meeting minutes under the Planning Act from August 10th and the associated recommendations to council. The staff report regarding civil proceedings regarding cannabis-related matters, and the staff report regarding face coverings in enclosed public spaces policy. If there are any questions on any of the reports?
And not seen any. Return to you, Madam Clerk.
So for the vote, Councillor Hahn.
Yes.
Councillor Hildebrand.
Yes.
Councillor Kaur.
Yes.
Councillor Stewart.
Councillor Stewart?
Yes.
There we go.
Thank you. And Mayor Junkin.
Yes.
That carries unanimously. And through you, Mr. Mayor, we are now at item 10.2.1, and this is the delegation of authority for final condominium approval and part lot control, planning report 2020-0127 on a motion by Councillor Stewart, seconded by Councillor Hahn. Be it resolved that Council receive report 2020-0127 and that Council approve the delegation of authority bylaw that delegates approval authority to the Director of Community Planning for condominium approval and lifting of part lot control approval. Over to you, Mr. Mayor, for questions.
Thank you. After reading the report, is there any questions or comments from any councillors on this report? Not seen any. Return to the clerk.
So for the vote, we will start with Councillor Hildebrand,
Yes.
Councillor Kaur,
Yes.
Councillor Stewart,
Councillor Stewart?
Yes.
thank you, Councillor Hahn,
Yes.
and Mayor Junkin.
Yes.
Carried unanimously. Mr. Mayor, the next item on the agenda is item 10.2.2, subdivision agreement for Saffron Meadows Phase 1, subdivision number 3. Planning Report 2020-0018 on a motion by Councillor Kaur, seconded by Councillor Hildebrand. Be it resolved that Council receive Report 2020-118 and that Council authorize the execution of the subdivision agreement for final approval of Phase 1 of the Saffron Meadows Subdivision 3. If there are any questions, Mr. Mayor.
After reading the report, any questions or comments for the Planning Department? Not seen any, Madam Clerk.
For the vote, starting with Councillor Kaur.
Yes.
Councillor Stewart? There must be some sort of delay with your microphone. I can see your mouth saying yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Hahn
Yes.
and Councillor Hildebrand?
Yes.
Mayor Junkin?
Yes.
The motion carries. There were, let's just see where we are. There was no unfinished business listed or new business, so we are at presentation of and consideration of bylaws.
Wait, Madam Clerk.
Sorry?
10.2.3.
Oh, I'm sorry. 10.2.3, thank you. I would have realized that when I started to read this. I have a motion by Councillor Stewart, seconded by Councillor Hildebrand. This is on item 10.2.3, purchase of traffic safety devices in 2021. Public Works Report 2020-0123. Be it resolved that Council receive Report 2020-0123, Purchase of Warning Lights and Speed Display Signs for Road Safety, and that Council approve the initiative in principle and refer the purchase of traffic safety devices for consideration in the 2021 Roads Capital Budget. To you, Mr. Mayor, for discussion.
Okay. Any comments or questions? I see Councillor Hahn.
Through the mayor, yes, this is director to the director of Public Works, Jason. Jason, just wondering, can we add to that the a solar flashing speed sign to Quaker between Haste and South Pelham, and also Merritt or Port Robinson? Those are areas that I know we've had a lot of back and forth with you on. Councillor Hildebrand and I have both kind of been at you now for probably a good solid year and a half on that. And I'm just wondering if it's possible to add to definitely Port Robinson and Quaker, and then of course my wish list would be on Merritt as well.
Jason, Director?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. So just to confirm, the councillor is wishing to see there's two different signs that were indicated in this report. One is a flashing yellow warning sign, which you would use to indicate changes in the road and to warn drivers of something changing in the road conditions. And the other sign was the speed zone sign, which indicates the speed that the vehicle is traveling at. And that's the sign that you're looking to put on those other locations. Is that correct?
Yeah, because the issue in all three of those areas, so Merritt, Port Robinson, and Quaker between Haste and South Pelham, all three issues is speed.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, we're aware of speeding complaints in those areas. We have, as part of our operating budget in 2020, we did purchase a second speed indicating sign, which is affixed to poles, and it's solar powered, and it's able to be installed in sections of roadway. There are also other types of those signs that more permanent installations that Public Works staff can look at. Definitely, we can take that back and look at some options on those other locations, other roads, and we can include those as part of the 2021 capital budget, as part of a safety device line item in that budget, and then that'll be up for discussion when we debate and discuss the 2021 capital budget.
Thank you.
Okay. And if I may ask a question to the director, when we put these signs up, other than just going on the complaints we get, do we do a study either? I believe we have a sign or a contraption that regulates speed. Do we do a watch on that road to see the percentage of speeders and how fast they're going? Do we do, I guess I'm asking, do we do a speed study before we advance, or do we strictly go by the concerns of the residents?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So when we position our speed indicator signs throughout the community, it's mostly complaint driven. So it's usually following several complaints by residents about speeding traffic. Those devices are able to give us what the speeds are of the vehicles. And yes, we determine what the percentile is above the certain traveled speed that traffic travels at. And it gives us a good indication on what exactly cars are traveling on those roads. Unfortunately, one of the downfalls is with those signs is that when they are positioned, some people tend to use them as almost a game where they can try to see how fast they can get going. But for the most part, they do provide some reliable information with respect to the traffic that's traveling on those roads and the speeds that they're traveling at.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. I see Councillor Court.
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor. If we're asking for some signs, can we get one for Hay Street north of Highway 20 and also Lookout Street? Is there a possibility of that? I know I know John's not here tonight, but I know we had a lot of concern with residents with speed on those two major streets.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So right now, the Public Works Department does have 2 portable speed message signs. We're able to move those around in various locations. I believe up till last week, anyway, there was our new sign, speed indicator sign, was on Hay Street, north of Brewerton. So we have been tracking the speeds on that area, on that section of road. So we can look into more permanent installations. My preference would be to continue on our program of moving on those lower volume roads anyway, moving our portable message signs around so that we can hit different areas, but and leave the higher volume roads to more of a permanent installation.
Thank you. Anything else, Councillor Core?
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I believe Councillor Hildebrand.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To the Public Works Director. The information that you're receiving and you're recording, if you're recording this data, is it passed along to the bylaw department, and are they contacting the regional police so action gets taken against the people that are speeding?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the information doesn't get passed on to bylaw, but there is a website, on our website, residents are able to log in to track or make complaints to the regional municipality of Niagara, the police department, to let them know about the speeding. And then when Public Works staff become aware of complaints regarding speeding, then we'll make a call to the Niagara Regional Police as well, so that they can increase their presence and enforcement.
Is that all, Councillor Hildebrand?
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments, questions? Not seeing any. I will turn to the clerk.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, we do have the motion, and we have other locations that council would like staff to look at. So be it resolved that council receive report 2020-0123, purchase of warning lights and speed display signs for road safety, and that council approve the initiative in principle and refer the purchase of traffic safety devices for consideration in the 2021 roads capital budget. With no further discussion, I can call the vote, starting with Councillor Stewart.
Yes.
Councillor Hahn.
Yes.
Councillor Hildebrand.
Yes.
Councillor Kaur.
Yes.
And Mayor Junkin.
Yes. Yes.
The motion carries. Mr. Mayor, we are now to the presentation and consideration of bylaws. On a motion by Councillor Hahn, seconded by Councillor Kaur, be it resolved, the council for the town of Pelham, having given due consideration to the following bylaws, do now read a first, second, and third time and do pass same, and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to sign and seal the bylaws. First, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a subdivision agreement with Hurt Incorporated and the Corporation of the Town of Pelham for Saffron Meadows Phase 3 Subdivision Phase 1, and Hurt Incorporated and the Corporation of Town of Pelham for file 26T190218. The second bylaw is a bylaw to delegate authority to the Director of Community Planning and Development regarding condominium approval and the lifting of part lot control. Discussion on the motion, Mr. Mayor?
Discussion on these bylaws. Questions? Not seeing any. I'll return to the clerk.
And this vote starts with Councillor Hahn.
Yes.
Councillor Hildebrand.
Yes.
Councillor Kaur.
Yes.
Councillor Stewart.
Yes.
And Mayor Junkin.
Yes.
The motion carries. The next item is the closed session, and I do have a motion by Councillor Kaur, seconded by Councillor Hahn. Be it resolved that the next portion of the meeting be closed to the public in order to consider the following under the Municipal Act 2001, Section 239 2D, Labor Relations and Employee Negotiations. Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'll call the vote, starting with Councillor Hildebrand.
Yes.
Councillor Kaur.
Yes.
Counselor Stewart,
Yes.
Counselor Hahn,
Yes.
and Mayor Junkin.
Yes.
The motion carries. If you will just give us a moment to change up the live streaming and stop the recording.